if we can get past yesterday's business for the moment, did Keir Starmer talk to you about his proposed rule changes before the conference? So, another Labour Party tradition, the two of you clearly didn't disagree because you put forward a separate amendment to his proposal at the NEC.
We had our NEC, which passed and approved some proposals that are going to go to conference floor, and that's how we do things in the Labour Party.
There's plenty of housing, claims Angela Rayner moments after declaring a housing crisis. It's not often we see a politician's credibility crumble in real time, but Rayner's BBC interview was a masterclass in self-destruction. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. As Sir Trevor Phillips grilled her on Labour's contradictory housing and immigration policies, Rayner's responses became increasingly incoherent. The aftermath? A social media storm branding her thick as a brick and virulently unintelligent. But is this fair criticism or a harsh judgment on a politician caught off guard? Angela Rayner strode onto the BBC set, exuding her trademark confidence. Known for her fiery debates and rapid ascent within Labour's ranks, Rayner had become a formidable force in British politics. Her working-class background and no-nonsense attitude had endeared her to many, positioning her as a potential future leader of the party. But as Sir Trevor Phillips began his questioning, the cracks in Rayner's armour started to show. The controversy stemmed from two conflicting statements about housing. On one hand, Labour had been loudly proclaiming a housing crisis, calling for urgent action. On the other, Rayner herself had recently claimed there was plenty of housing available. Phillips, a veteran journalist known for his incisive interviews, didn't let this contradiction slide. He pressed Rayner to explain how these two positions could coexist.
And that's normal in conference period. We're not happy unless we're talking about a rule amendment, a reference back or a compensating meeting. That's just the... Well, I'm not going to discuss what happened at the private meeting of the NEC.
But that is the case.
But one of the things that I'm concerned of, and I always have been, and I've stood on the platform, is that we are able to diversify our normal hustle and tussle of what we do at conference. So, yeah, you know, he wanted that consultation, he wanted that discussion.
As the questions became more pointed, Rayner's responses grew increasingly flustered. Well, you see, what we mean is... Rayner stumbled, trying to reconcile the irreconcilable. She attempted to pivot, blaming the Conservative government for the housing shortage while simultaneously maintaining her stance on housing availability. The mental gymnastics required for this explanation left viewers bewildered. As the interview progressed, Phillips continued to tighten the screws. He questioned Labour's immigration policies and how they aligned with the party's housing plans. Rayner's answers became more convoluted, filled with political jargon that failed to address the core issues. The moment Rayner's argument truly began to crumble came when Phillips asked a simple question. So which is it? Is there a housing crisis or plenty of housing? Rayner's response was a jumble of talking points, failing to provide a clear answer. By the end of the interview, Rayner's credibility had taken a significant hit. Her inability to explain Labour's contradictory positions left her looking unprepared and out of her depth. The once rising star of the party now appeared vulnerable and inconsistent. This disastrous appearance raises broader questions about Labour's election strategy. How will the party address these contradictions moving forward? Can they regain the trust of voters who may now be questioning their competence? As clips of the interview spread online, Labour strategists face an uphill battle to control the narrative and minimise the damage to their campaign. Remember Ed Miliband's bacon sandwich moment? Rayner's interview was about to make that look like a minor blip. As the first clips hit Twitter, a storm was brewing that would redefine how we think about political accountability in the digital age. Within minutes of the interview's conclusion, social media platforms were ablaze with reactions. Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok became battlegrounds where Rayner's fumbled responses were dissected, mocked, and shared at an alarming rate. The harshest critics didn't pull their punches. Comments branding Rayner as thick as a brick and virulently unintelligent spread like wildfire, painting a brutal picture of public perception. One particularly scathing tweet captured the sentiment of many viewers. "Angela Rayner is really struggling on TV. Keeps trying to pivot away from difficult questions." This criticism highlighted a broader frustration with politicians who dodge uncomfortable topics. And Rayner had inadvertently become the poster child for this behavior. The speed and ferocity of the online response underscored the perilous nature of political communication in the social media era. Gone are the days when a politician's misstep might be buried in the middle pages of a newspaper. Now, every stumble is instantly magnified and memorialized for the world to see. This isn't the first time social media has amplified a political gaffe. Ed Miliband's awkward attempt to eat a bacon sandwich became an enduring meme that haunted his campaign. Jeremy Corbyn's struggles with anti-Semitism allegations were exacerbated by the relentless churn of social media outrage. Rayner's interview now joins this pantheon of digital disasters, potentially overshadowing her previous accomplishments and future aspirations. The long-term consequences for Rayner and Labour could be severe. In an age where viral moments can shape public opinion more than policy papers, this interview risks becoming the defining image of Rayner in voters' minds. Labour strategists now face the daunting task of damage control, knowing that every attempt to explain or justify could simply reignite the controversy. As the digital firestorm rages on, it's clear that this interview has become more than just a personal setback for Rayner. It's a rallying point for Labour's critics and a headache for party strategists trying to present a unified, competent front ahead of the elections. The question now is whether Labour can turn this stumble into an opportunity for growth, or if it will haunt them all the way to the polling booths. Angela Rayner's disastrous BBC interview serves as a stark reminder of the perils of political communication in our digital age. In an era where every word is scrutinized and every misstep amplified, consistency and clarity in messaging are more crucial than ever. Rayner's fumbling attempts to reconcile contradictory statements on housing have not only damaged her personal credibility, but also cast a shadow over Labour's broader election strategy. As Labour scrambles to mitigate the fallout, they face a daunting challenge. Can they transform this setback into an opportunity for growth, or will it haunt them at the polls? The party might consider enhancing internal communication to ensure consistent messaging and engaging directly with constituents to address concerns. However, in the court of public opinion, the damage may already be done. Rayner's performance has given Labour's critics ample ammunition and left voters questioning the party's competence. This incident underscores a broader issue in modern politics: the struggle to maintain coherent policies in the face of complex challenges. As Labour regroups, they must grapple with the fundamental contradictions exposed by Rayner's interview. The question remains: can they craft a message that resonates with voters while addressing the realities of housing and immigration? The answer may well determine their fate in the upcoming elections.